So we've done one season wonders on this channel, but how about one season blunders? These are those weapons that were only in one season and were absolutely horrible. These weapons and items were an absolute embarrassment to Fortnite, and it's probably for the best that they were vaulted after just one season. This list will not contain any mythic items. If you want me to make a separate list with mythics, I can do that. And there's basically only one requirement here, that the weapon was only in the game for one season of Fortnite and has not returned since, but I should mention that it is okay if they have come back into Fortnite Reload. That does not count for this list. They've only been in one season of Fortnite, but they've come back in Reload. They are still eligible to be on this list. Be sure to absolutely destroy that support a creator button in the item shop using code TYFRYZ. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's get right into this. Right away, I want to talk about the Ripsaw. This is an item that should have never even existed in the first place. I normally give Epic Games credit for being created, but this thing is just a disaster. And if you are watching this video and you didn't even know that this weapon existed, well, I wouldn't blame you. It was only in Chapter 3, Season 3, which in and of itself is a little bit of a forgettable season, but was vaulted for Chapter 3, Season 4. It was just a gun that shot saws out of it, which, like, you can't even obtain saws outside of just the regular weapons reserve, so if you used all your ammo, well, there you go, just throw it away. You can, like, hold it as a regular saw, like, hold it up to players and do melee damage, except it only does 8 damage in the melee form, and then you can also, like, hold it up to their structures, but nobody really did that. Everybody really just used it to try and shoot the saws out of and basically use it like a launcher. And I say everybody, like anybody even touched this thing. It is a good thing that this item was only in one season. I hope it never comes back. Nobody is ever asking for the Ripsaw Launcher to come back, and I don't think it will. Next, and oh boy, I am licking my chops for this one. It is just going to be literally every makeshift weapon from Chapter 2, Season 6. I guess I also could have put some primal weapons here, like the primal pistol, but there were some primal weapons that were decent. The primal AR and the primal SMG, while they aren't the best weapons, I do think that they were decent, and they definitely are not some of the worst weapons that have only been in one season. But the makeshift weapons are a whole different story. Every single one sucks. I make a worst pistol video, the makeshift pistol is on there. I make a worst shotgun video, the makeshift shotgun is on there. I make a worst assault rifle video, the makeshift AR is there. I make a worst SMG video, the makeshift SMG is there. You guys get the point, right? Anytime I make a video, it is always bottom of the list every single time. And I try my best to kind of cut the makeshift weapons some slack because they were meant to be bad, right? They were meant to be just weapons that were kind of like bridge weapons that you would only hold to upgrade to the mechanical versions. But I just can't help it. When I get the opportunity to rip on Chapter 2, Season 6, I'm going to take it every single time. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think too many people are going to disagree with this one. But one that some people may disagree with is the two-shot shotgun. This is another weapon that was added in Chapter 3, Season 3, and that was the only season it was featured in. It was vaulted for Chapter 3, Season 4. I really don't understand Fortnite's kind of obsession with burst shotguns. They just shouldn't exist, plain and simple. This thing was absolutely horrible on launch. It got buffed a bunch of times and still is terrible. Most of the time, you're only going to hit one out of the 2 shots before you have to rechamber. It just felt extremely clunky to me. I have no other way to say it. I don't like using burst shotguns, as many other people would agree with. I guess the kind of caveat with a burst shotgun is that if you are at close range and you do hit both shots back to back, you can pretty much do 160 to 180 damage. And the delay between bursts wasn't terrible, right? I just think, honestly, if you ask 99% of players whether they'd rather have a 2-shot shotgun or a pump shotgun and SMG, everybody would probably say the pump shotgun and the SMG. I just didn't think it was a great shotgun, and that's why it is here on this list. Next, I got a weapon here that for some reason you guys express how much you love it in my comment sections all the time. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but that's the Chimera ray gun. And this is just your classic Chapter 2, Season 7 weapon, right? And I'll just say it right off the bat, I don't think this weapon will ever come back. Chapter 2, Season 7 was that alien theme, and this weapon just fits it perfectly, right? The kind of weird alien ray gun type of vibe we got that season. Yeah, I don't think this will ever come back. But obviously, the one thing that separates this weapon from basically every other weapon in Fortnite history is that it doesn't fire separate attacks. It just deals like rapid amounts of damage in like a continuous beam attack, right? But each shot, I guess you could call it, does 9 damage. which in the rare rarity is a DPS of 135, and that is absolutely awful, right? A DPS of 135 should never be spoken about ever again. I just didn't like it at all. It also only did 6 structure damage per hit, so if you think about it, a fully built wood wall takes 150 damage to break it. I'll be honest with you guys, I just personally do not see the appeal to this weapon at all. I guess it could be like kind of fun to use, but if you're actually trying to kill somebody and be competitive, there is just so many other options you should take over this weapon. And if you can somehow believe it, yet another Chapter 3 Season 3 weapon on this list, that is the Charge SMG. You can see why Chapter 3 Season 3 is so forgotten about. I mean, so many weapons that were only in that season and have never come back since. And what another weird weapon we got here. This was an SMG that, like the name says, you had to charge up before you could use. But this weapon is just fundamentally flawed for so many reasons. I mean, just think about it right now while you're watching this video. When you use an SMG, 90% of the time that you use it, when do you use it? You use it after you shoot a shotgun and then you swap to the sub to finish off. Well, the Charge SMG makes that completely obsolete. You cannot do that with the Charge SMG because you have to charge up the bullets before you can use them. So you almost had to use this in like a reverse way. You would charge up all the bullets, and then once you did, the fire rate was incredible. I mean, it basically released all those bullets in like a couple seconds. So you would do all your damage with the SMG and then finish them off with the pump, right? But most players don't want to do that, right? It is a high skill weapon though, I will say that. It's similar to the charge shotgun. If you are able to master the charge effect and use it the way that it's intended to use, it can be a top weapon. And I guess you could say the same about the charge SMG, but even with that, even put this in the hands of the best players, they couldn't do anything with this either. It is a bottom 3 SMG, I would say, of all time, and yeah, no, this thing was dog water, I'll be honest with you. Let's move on to Season X with the Burst SMG. Of course, this is not the Chapter 5 Burst SMG, that's the Thunder Burst. We all know how good that is. I'm talking about the one with like the white body looking thing, and I just have such a vivid memory about this weapon of watching Laserbeam's video. I'm sure I'll use it as gameplay here, and the whole video he's like, this thing is awful, I cannot believe they added a weapon this bad. I mean, the entire video is just him dogging on this and like struggling to get kills with this weapon. We have seen multiple iterations of Burst SMGs, and honestly, none of them have been good until Chapter 5, so I guess they learned from their mistakes, but one of those mistakes was this weapon. And also, I just pulled up the Fortnite wiki, so before you rip me in the comment section, or if you've already done it, this weapon was actually in Season 9 and then vaulted for the beginning of Season X, so my apologies there. And the one thing that I remember vividly from this weapon was just brutal recoil, like just straight to the sky every time you used it. We don't need any more Burst SMGs. I'm totally content with the Thunder Burst being the last one we ever get, so yeah, keep this one in the vault, please. Alright, here's a weapon that I honestly don't even know why it exists. It has literally zero purpose in this game. It is the lever action rifle. I was thinking to myself today, like, if I had to name every single weapon in Fortnite, this would be one of the last ones I would ever think about. It's just like non-existent, although maybe some of you may recognize this weapon because it actually has been unvaulted for Fortnite Reload. But is anybody picking this thing up in Reload? I can't speak for you guys, but for me, absolutely no chance I'm ever touching this weapon. It's like a hybrid between like the explosive repeater rifle and like the OG infantry rifle before it got buffed to hit scan. I just don't know why this weapon's not hit scan. If you're gonna make a weapon like this made for long range, not hit scan, at least give it a damn scope, right? It's just way too hard to use. Just use a DMR or use a sniper. Don't even go near this weapon. I actually think that the lever action rifle is potentially the worst weapon we have ever seen in Fortnite, and that's saying a lot because there is a lot of really bad items, including the next item on this list, which is the Recycler. And yes, you knew I could get one more jab in there on Chapter 2, Season 6. I was absolutely going to do it. I despise this season so badly. And I mean, while I do dislike this weapon, I will give them credit for creativity because this is a really unique item. You were basically able to take like trees and rocks or whatever and make it your ammo. I mean, that's really cool. I think it would be really interesting to see this mechanic like retooled and revamped into a new weapon because we haven't seen anything like that since the Recycler. I mean, the fact that this thing even got a mythic version is absolutely diabolical. I mean, it's just a brutal launcher all around, right? Like the area of effect was awful, terrible. I mean, if you would try and use this thing, you literally had to direct impact them to do damage. There's just no room in your inventory to hold the Recycler. I mean, that's all I gotta say. But I mean, maybe you did have room in your inventory since every single weapon in Chapter 2, Season 6 sucked. I don't know, when I ranked every single launcher, this launcher was right at the bottom as it should be. The Recycler is probably never going to come back. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave it a like if you did, and comment other video ideas down below that you would like to see. I mean, if you would like to see a mythic version of this, I can absolutely do that. Let me know what your thoughts are on this list. I could also make a part 2 if you guys think I missed a bunch. Let me know. With all that being said, again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave it a like, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.